Hey guys, I'm in my favourite spot again here in the park, my local park, sitting on a rock, feeling rather mellow, not as overexcited as I was yesterday when I was here. And I thought we would have a rather slower, more contemplative chat with one another about thinking. I've been thinking a lot about thinking recently, which is rather paradoxical and probably not advised. If you're trying to think about avoiding thought, you might get yourself into trouble. But I wanted to chat with you guys about avoiding worry, reducing worry in our lives, reducing negative thinking, and how important it is to reduce the amount of thought we allow run through our minds, and in so doing have a much more pleasant experience of the world around us. And I've been sharing this plenty more recently in recent podcasts, which is coming out soon, and recent videos as well. So I'm kind of in this headspace at the moment about managing thought, and it's a very interesting topic because I feel and I know that thought and being able to control it, being able to be at ease with pestering negative thoughts and reducing the amount that we get through that torment us, is really the secret to enjoying life and being more creative and more energized as we go through life. And a lot of us suffer very, very needlessly with unnecessary levels of stress and anxiety and anticipatory fear, anxiety, depression. All of this stuff is massively reduced and completely unnecessary when we understand the nature of thought and how it plays its role in being human. And of course, thought is very important. Thought is what makes us human. Thought is what separates us from the animal, from the snuffling hog in the forest. Thought allows us simply to picture things in our minds in order for us to plan and warn and anticipate and tell stories. It allows us to take a snapshot of a particular incident. Maybe it was an attack by a saber-toothed tiger, and we are able to hold that idea in thought and be able to explain what happened to warn our fellow man back at the camp. That is what thought is. Thought is also an encourager. Thought is, I believe, meant to motivate. So for example, if you are a caveman, we're going back to the caveman days, and we manage to bring down an antelope and eat it, and we get a dopamine spike from that, our thoughts are able to hold that memory of joy, of sustenance in our minds, so that we remember it a week or a month later when we're hungry again. We remember what we did in order to bring that antelope down, and we are motivated through that memory, through that thought, to go out and be driven again to run after that antelope for a day. But of course, thoughts can be a torment. And thoughts can be managed, when managed incorrectly, they can bring us down, and they can create unnecessary emotional response and unnecessary sense of trauma and discomfort and fear. And when we can understand that a thought is simply something that we have the ability to turn off, the ability to turn away from, and we do not need to be obliged to entertain any thought, and we realize that thought is completely separate to reality, then we are free. That is pure psychological freedom, when we can understand that thought and how we interpret reality in the form of a thought is just an interpretation. It is not reality itself. Split thought from reality and you are free. Split thought from reality and you are free. So the cause of your stress is not directly what is happening around you. It is not an external thing. You are creating all of the stress, all of the pain, all of the fear inside yourself based on whatever thought you are bringing up. And many of us get into the habit of bringing up unpleasant, ugly, dark thoughts in response to particular triggers, particular things we see out in reality. So if we're socially anxious and we see a crowd of people and we have someone telling us we should walk up to them, we create thoughts in our minds, images, flashbacks and horror stories, and images of ourselves screwing things up, and images of us sweating and getting nervous. And we react to the thought, we react to the image, and we get nervous, not because there's a group of people in front of us, but because we have a thought in our mind that is terrifying the crap out of us. So in order to create a more calm life, we need to reduce the number of pictures that float through our heads. We need to stop entertaining them. We need to stop taking them seriously. And I like to bring up this analogy, and I've brought it up, a similar one up before in a previous article, which was about the flies buzzing around the head of a bull. Your negative thoughts are just that. They're out there, but they're just floating about, and the bull doesn't give a crap. You need to be that bull who just flicks them away occasionally with his ear and does not entertain them. Those of us who suffer from anxiety, we see a thought, we take it seriously. It's like, oh, I need to entertain this. I need to solve this problem. I need to get myself in gear. I need to ruminate on this. I need to get myself into position and really have a long, hard think about what this thought is telling me, and I need to take it seriously. What you're doing is you're taking these little buzzing flies seriously. You're saying to yourself as a bull, oh gosh, what can I do to help? What can I do to serve you? Or do you represent a threat? I mean, you look. I mean, you're tiny, but you could be dangerous. You could give me a disease. I mean, you're responding emotionally to things that shouldn't affect you. And you can also think of it in the analogy of. I was thinking about this today. I was just sitting at my cafe table outside, and as is often the case in Tbilisi, you get the occasional beggar coming up and asking for a cigarette or a bit of money. And the same lady had come round a couple of times, and I just had to, rather than entertain her and sort of react to her and tell her no and disappoint her, I just gazed firmly forward at my book until she fizzled away, until she walked away. It's cruel, but you can think of thought in exactly the same way. You can think of how you handle thought in a very similar way, i.e. when a thought approaches you, you might get a vision of something that scares you, or it might be a thought that comes up over and over again, the same thought pattern. So if you are scared of heights, you might get these odd flashbacks that make you feel vertigo, or you might have this constant worry about success even. I mean, whatever it is that comes up for you a lot, you need to see it as a sort of a beggar, as a stalker that you don't need to entertain. The impact will be made not in resisting that thought, not in trying to engage it, not in trying to have a conversation with it, not in entertaining it. The impact that is going to be most beneficial to you is if you see a negative thought, just let it float on by. And do this throughout the day. You have to, if you find yourself plagued, as most people are, by worries, by negative thoughts that make them feel bad, that is a good indication that it is a negative thought. If it makes you feel bad straight away, you need to not entertain it. Most of us think that we need to control our thoughts, and we need to ruminate, we need to think about them, we need to try and fix the problem, we need to fix ourselves, and it does nothing. And I've been doing this for decades, and it's only made things worse. The more you allow something to float around and hover and stay in your mind, for instance, I had an issue with like sweating too much in social situations, just getting all sweaty and like overthinking it and worrying about it in advance. And then of course, the more I thought about it and the more I tried to combat the visions in my mind of me sweating too much, I would make it worse, and it would of course, manifest itself in reality. Whereas if I had just allowed that thought to float on by and be aloof to the thought, be completely acting unaware that it's even there, it's going to lose its hold on you, and you're going to drain the color of that thought from your mind. And over time, the more you just let go of that worrying thought, those patterns of thinking, the more they are going to move off into some other parallel universe and out of your life. And so since I've become aloof to my thoughts, that's what it is. It's aloofness. In the same way that you're aloof, you know, the person who's handled beggars in the street, the person who makes the greatest impact, if they're not a charitable type, the person that wins in that world is the one who just completely ignores them. They sort of walk away with their tail between their legs. And you want your thoughts to do that as well. A great way to take the attention away from pervasive, obsessive thoughts that are not good for you is to focus on two things, and I've mentioned this in a previous video. One thing is to just focus on your own success. Focus on what's good in your life, what's to be grateful of, and creating abundant success. Just going for what you want and allowing the successful thoughts and the positive thoughts to drown out those negative thoughts. The second one is to just return to breath. Not, oh God, my breath stinks, but return to your breath. Focus on breathing. This is a perfect example of a lady who's enraptured by thought, who's very reactive to thinking, and she sees a child misbehaving and she immediately gets all these thoughts of how her child is being unfair to her and is attacking her, and it's all about me, 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 and she reacts angrily to that rather than seeing the reality of it, which is she's just being a child. She's just enjoying nature and playing, and is not necessarily rebelling against her mother or grandmother. I'm wondering. So focus on success, focus on your breath. So if you're really plagued by negative thoughts, get into meditation. It's a very good way of training those thoughts away, just training that ability to observe thoughts as a separate entity. And as you go through the day, just continually get obsessed. If you're going to get obsessed about anything, get obsessed about being aloof to your thoughts and letting go of those negative thoughts. And guess what happens? When you start giving more space, you give more space to, getting a bit sidetracked here. You give space to creative insight, to subconscious thought. The problems you have, anything that needs fixing, if there isn't anything that needs fixing, will be fixed by those creative insights. You don't even need to put any effort in at all. So think how easy life can get when all you got to do is chill out, let go, stop entertaining those thoughts. Just let go of the need to fix yourself. Let go of the need, this constant thing that says you've got to get on top of this, you have to ruminate on this, you need to worry on this problem you have. Just forget it. Just let go, be aloof to thought, and let those creative insights guide the way. And let that take you into a successful future. All right, guys, I hope that made sense. This is Alex in a park in Tbilisi. There you go. You can see the other side of the valley there, if it focuses. Pleasure as always. I hope this made sense. Let me know in the comments below if you want to hear me expand on any particular aspect of this. There's a lot that I could cover with this. It's a fascinating area because this is the heart of bliss. Being able to understand how thought can torment us and how we can reduce it and how we can get back into breath and creativity and life and really living. None of us need to suffer through life. None of us need to do it at all, and we create most of our problems for ourselves. Hit the like button if you agree with this, and do share this video with a friend who might need this. Much love. See you soon. Have a great day.